I wish I could find that video of her spray painting.
You're rocking with your boy, Czar, all rights reserved. We are live. Grab a bite to eat movement. Grab a drink movement, whatever you want to say. It's about to turn up. What's up, Lucky Team? I don't know if this woman that reached out to me is going to respond now that it's showtime, but no, hopefully she does. But we all know when showtime comes around that things change up because people don't want to say certain things. And
and then the ex-boyfriend caught her handwriting.
Okay, we're not going to say a name to that person, though. So that's what I want to do. We can conversate about it. I want everybody to know that. Well, Queen, you take the topic from here. I'm gonna get a bite to eat. I'm gonna let you bring the subject in how you want to bring it in.
All right, well, here's what we're going to do first. What we're going to do is I'm going to make sure to put in my plug. So follow me on YouTube at Queen Prodigy and on Twitter at Queen Prodigy. Also hit me up on IG at Queen Prodigy 0369. You guys want to put in your plug too?
Zabella, Chris, whoever.
Yep.
Salute to France.
Yo.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
So you can follow me on IG, Instagram, Chris_A. That's AY, the number 3.
Okay. We already got Oriah in here. And with Oriah, go ahead, Zabella.
Oh no, we're gonna make sure that Zabella's good, so we're gonna move on from there.
Okay. Oriah says it apparently, and I don't know how they're doing this. The group's enlightened. That's all I can say. We got a group of enlightened people here. Apparently, Jenna Beaver's ex-boyfriend who did vandalize XxxTentacion's memorial. So she's saying the boyfriend. So I'm gonna let you guys comment from there.
So my understanding, it was posted on some sort of media outlet on Twitter. I mean, not on Twitter, on Instagram, that stated that it was so-and-so's baby mama ex, basically. But that's not true. It turned to the fact that that the artist was confirming that it was an alleged ex of hers. But keep in mind that the gentleman is actually firing back, and there are different pictures that were posted to kind of validate or to prove that he only wrote RIPX and wrote F the artist's name, and basically that he had nothing to do with writing slanderous names or anything all over his face. They're also stating that if you pay attention to the young lady's handwriting, that it's very similar to the graffiti on the wall.
Any comments? Zabella?
Yes. What was the question?
No, it's no question. She just said how the handwriting was similar to the vandalism that was on the side of the memorial.
Well, yeah, I used to do graffiti, so it's very visible. It's very visible who's doing that, you know. It's very it's hard to say. It's just it's noticeable. It's really noticeable who's doing it, who isn't doing it. Why are they bringing certain people around in the house, and why not, you know? They brought her there. They brought her to his house to do a painting for the brother, and they've been doing murals all over the place, and all of a sudden she vandalizes that one.
Now, Queen, when did this occur? This vandalism?
I believe the vandalism occurred probably roughly about 48 to 72 hours ago. Please don't quote me, but sometime within that time frame.
Is this possible retaliation?
I'm trying to understand exactly what the retaliation would be. I mean, he admitted to the damage that he did, but he specifically took a picture showing the amount of damage that was done, and then coming back to the situation, he sees that there was more damage done on top of that. Now, he's saying that he didn't spray paint over X's face, to which he knew that would be disrespectful. But he wanted to make a very clear point to his ex that infidelity is unacceptable.
So he was alleging someone else did it, right?
Correct.
Okay. So does this person have motive?
The other individual that so basically, are you saying that the ex is saying that the other person has a motive?
Yeah. Do they?
I mean, to be completely honest, what exactly did she gain from the exposure?
Maybe she had a falling out with someone and doubled back.
That could definitely be a thing. I have no idea, but the evidence shows that there's a lot of animosity in this particular situation. And why would someone go to the effect of making sure that they compare what is going on? You know, like they're making very strong allegations, because I'm sure this gentleman is being attacked, you know, for something that he either allegedly did or allegedly did not do.
Okay, I'm gonna cut the games now. Do you believe that there has been adequate proof shown that that is Tentacion's kid? Let's stop playing now.
How so? I'm sorry if you don't mind me asking.
That's what I'm trying to ask. How okay. A woman runs up and she's like, this is Czar's kid. And just because she says that, we're all like, oh, that's it. Has there been, to my knowledge or your knowledge, has there been any test to prove without a shot of a doubt that's the kid?
No. Coolly Cut even got a tattoo of her name on his rib.
So with that said, wow.
That was a big wow.
So infidelity. Infidelity means that someone's sleeping around. And do you think he did that just because it was only X, or because multiple people were busting it down? Anyone?
Yeah, well, if you get a tattoo with a female's name on your body, the assumption is she's with you. Who's gonna want to put a tattoo
on his rib?
Look at that. Why would you put a tattoo when this person that you're tattooing is sleeping around with people? I mean,
yeah, but Coolly Cut's never been a stable person.
It's crazy because it's not like I'm gonna take and tattoo my best friend's name on me.
It's safe to say he missed a lot of meals, but with that said, why is it that he would be involved? Did Jen get taken from someone else, or was she just around the ex, the man? Yeah, I've seen that picture.
I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Do you perceive that Jen may have been close friends with someone else, and was one of the many when I spoke about X being a pimp that stole girls from people? He took girls from people? Or do you?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. I mean, I don't know specific situations, but I'm gonna be honest. Let's be for real here. When you're lining these particular people up against Ja, who do you think most of these girls are gonna choose? He don't have to steal nobody.
Him, he's talented. I keep saying it. They're not talented. They're untalented. They're not talented at all. They're not talented at all. They're crap. He always removed their music from the albums, and he would always get begged. They would beg him to play his music back on.
So, did someone stop begging? Is it possible someone stopped begging and started plotting?
Yeah, of course. Where is he now?
You know, he got that song that everyone's nodding their heads to.
I forgot to no, I'm not nodding my head to none of their tracks. Sorry, they suck. Remember how we were talking about they kept bringing music when I lived with them? They kept bringing music from that time now, and the whole new album. They're all talking about 2016.
Wow.
Why would they be talking about the time I lived with him and all this crap?
Let me also present this. You know, and I'm bringing it up because y'all don't like it. I know. What is going on with the whole Genesis? I mean, look, Jocelyn Sanchez. Jocelyn Sanchez. That entire situation. Aren't we seeing synonymous factors or not? Because I was told specific people drove her to that hotel. And my thoughts are, if specific people drove someone to a hotel, could it have been a way to try and plant an occurrence on Tentacion? Since he was the last one to see her. Anyone? Anybody? Is it possible after? Hold on, they're playing with us. Since the police had to go question him right after questioning people that were actually at the hotel. Let's get a bit deeper then. Okay, no comment. Let's get a bit deeper. What could have been the argument between two people to have a falling out? Do you think it was related to children, related to trauma, or related to money?
I'm honestly not sure because he brought her down to model. And none of these people knew her until they met her that day.
What day was that and what year?
That was 2 years ago in August.
2017?
Yes. I remember he kept having shows and I kept showing up and I saw her once and she disappeared after that. It was crazy.
Who'd she disappear with?
I couldn't say. There was a group of them. Remember, they all stick together.
So why do I see a split in the tour?
VR and MO.
But I thought Ski said VR was dead.
Why is VR dead when VR is in members only now?
But the three people I saw together, at least one of them I never heard of being in VR.
Which one?
Oh, we'll move on. You don't know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna go into detail. Okay, next question. Here's what's confusing to me. I'm gonna put this out there. Two people have a falling out. Two people are at odds. It's a very silent case, but at the same time, I see that a person on the side is requesting statements. Do you know of any time the baby mother was around the situation, other than the photo we've seen of her doing something to his head? I don't know where she is, clipping his eyebrows. I don't know. Are there any affiliations known about that? How she first popped up into the picture with X?
I mean, like I said, the only thing that I would know is about the actual situation of possibly being casted as a model, but being underage. That is all I know. But on that point, I'm not too sure.
Okay, now we're about to turn up. Queen, yeah or nay, are there funny videos circulating with people underage on tape doing adult things?
Oh, well, thanks to the wonderful source of Reddit. And again, I don't know if you looked at the content as of yet, and I'll make sure to post it in the group.
Man.
But there was content of someone who was extremely aggressive towards me and did a whole bunch of rude things, showing that he was actually recording a minor, basically performing child pornography. I couldn't even get it up.
Hold on.
Like, oh my God, it's crazy. Allegedly, it's on this person's Twitter account.
That's the knockout. That's the knockout punch. That's the knockout punch. Okay, to the next thing. So let's presume these videos were circulating. Is it possible she was in one of these videos?
I have no idea. And again, I'm going to post the link, and maybe we can see if CommenterNation on our commenter end can actually take a look and see what's good with that. But I really, honestly, I was just disgusted, to be honest, and I just couldn't believe it. So,
well, okay. Let's gravitate back. So let me ask this part here. If I presume that occurred, Isabella, do you have any knowledge of potential underage girls getting knocked down at a party?
Only at Bruno's house.
So,
if we ever had, oh my God, Geneva was underage when we met her.
Okay, stop. Stop there. Stop there. Okay. Okay. So, isn't this the same person that tried to come out and say that they were beat by X. But what reason would he have to beat her if he was getting all this tail? Because we're seeing a lot of negative reactions to someone hating that X is busting down different women. So you're saying these guys put hoes over money? Y'all were putting hoes over money to hate him that much that there was people getting knocked down from the front, from behind, from the side, on the kitchen counter, on the sink, in a car. He was knocking it down like that. And instead of going and getting you something, you got so mad that you were like, yo, I hate this dude. Why? Everybody's such a pimp and such a G. They couldn't go get their own piece. I'm kind of confused off of this. That's crazy. No, that's crazy. You can never say you're on some G stuff just because you fire a weapon, because you're over here trying to plot on your own over these chicks that are in these films that are doing different. Really? Is that the new generation? I talked to some young dudes a little bit ago. They told me they don't move like that. I'm kind of confused. Why? So over this scenario of someone getting a lot of women, you know what? Let's just get to this point. If the vandalism was as the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend said, okay, as he said, that vandalism, there wasn't motive because of a falling out if it happened a few days ago. There wasn't resentment and hatred. Interesting. So if I'm to look at the way things are unfolding, and I'm to look at this objectively in any sense or way, somebody's mad. Somebody's mad. I mean, mad. Enough that they'd be willing to risk their freedom to cause harm to someone because of their broken heart over a situation of someone they attempted to claim. That's not new. That's really? Dang. And yes, I know you heard that we talked about a tour being split, but in terms of what I'm looking at, it looks like the real separated from the funny style. Now, why do I say that? I've done multiple stories, not mentioning names, implicating others, and those are the people I see by themselves. The three little piggies by themselves, off doing something. Oh, and I seen you hold up the Thanatos hand. But there is something you should know, and I'll say it later because I don't want to say it now. Just remember, Thanatos lost in the end. He lost. Doesn't matter how many people he beat, he lost in the end. You didn't see that? You didn't. It's funny because everybody references stuff like Scarface, references people like Thanatos, but you don't remember they lost in the end. They lost it all. That's why I tell you, I keep it real. I say it sounds good, looks good, until you actually see how it comes back around. The amount of lives that you didn't respect, but then respect my life. I got that. You can have the Thanatos hand, but you ain't got the money X had. And you think you're going to create something to get that money? No, you could go perform at certain places, but is your album going to sell out like X did? I'm only talking to the ones that went off like the Three Little Piggies. The rest, you know, I beg to differ. I feel like they're talented. I feel like they're going to do something. They just need to get away from those who be tripping over tail that's open to them because there's stars on the road. So you're going to trip over it that bad? I mean, we read lyrics where a person said, you just want the flows, I just want the hoes. I'm sure you do. But don't forget the step stool. And here's the crazy thing. In my mind, there was only one person a little shorter than you. And now we're talking about vandalisms. Interesting. Now, let me ask this. And this is to everyone. Why do you believe that all of this is happening? So vandalisms, backyard issues, silent issues. Why is all of this happening around this superstar's demise as opposed to other superstars?
Repeat again.
Why do you think a lot of this drama is occurring versus other superstars' demise?
Because he is not, number one. For one, I'll say it like this. This has constantly been a media bonanza when it comes down to black male artists. And I'm not trying to say that all of them are innocent or all of them are guilty. I have no clue. But as an artist, whether an actor, musician, whomever, it turns into a situation to where it becomes extremely thick because guess what? The industry can't touch that money, especially if you're dealing with an intelligent 20-year-old, 21-year-old man who has succeeded without needing the machine. If you think about it, let's talk about iHeartRadio real quick.
Okay.
Our iHeartRadio came on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So iHeartRadio came on last night. I didn't watch it, and I had my reasons not to watch it because in my hearts of hearts, I felt like they were going to pick him, which they did. They gave whatever award he was up for. I can't recall what the award was for. I don't know if it was new artist or new song or something like that for hip hop or whatever. But basically, he was up against. Let's see, he was up against like Lil Pump. It was Ja, it was a couple of other, big artists. And you know who they gave it to?
Who?
They gave it to some kid named Young Block or J Block or something, JB or whatever his
Block Boy.
What's his name?
Block Boy.
Yes, Block Boy JB. Who is that?
That is the individual in the song with Drake.
Oh, okay. So Cardi won. Oh, I'm sure Drake got something too. So it was basically a Drake night at iHeartRadio. And so you wonder why Kanye West is like F you radio, right? Because Drake basically has the power or the money to move Clear Channel to do whatever he wants them to do.
Clear Channel, huh? Clear Channel, I better hear about a sponsorship in a few weeks. Or I'll go clear off on you. It's like, nah, I'm not going. All right, so here's my thing. They didn't leave him out as the other awards did. So they did do their thing sensibly. Somewhat. But I will say, these artists that you mentioned versus X, it's hard to see them making an album. A lot of the music they do is one hit wonders, one hit. You couldn't just sit there and hear them make an album all the way through. They're not at that level yet. And that's what's troubling. Whoever's working with them in marketing, they could be stacking up. What did I tell you in my videos earlier? I always give y'all the sauce. I told you, you need to look at artists like Jay-Z, Nas, who off of just their album alone, they wouldn't have to make music for a decade, but they keep going because they make complete masterpieces. You can have a hit, but let that hit be on the album, not wait to drop it on that. Let it be tied to an album coming out. I don't know who's marketing, but here's the thing. They have guys tied to 360 deals, and you don't understand your money's going everywhere. You might as well be working a job, and then when you make a hit, you get paid overtime. I mean, it's like you're going to be on the grind forever. Yeah, they pay for the pretty chains. They pay for travel. They pay for you to make a video. But when does your talent ever get recognized? When do they say this guy is worth the investment? Once they get their money back, right? As anyone would. But are you making masterpieces that you can look back on, see the worth, and say to yourself, I don't even have to stay here? As much, I don't care if someone says they hate Drake. That Drake did it perfect. Have you ever heard of him having trouble with his label he's on? Did you ever hear him have? It's because of how he made his music. And how does he keep his music alive? He gets the features to bring himself back in right before he does his solo act. Whether you like it or not, it is ingenious. Who's the only person that started doing it like him? It was X. It was X who had the same mentality. He would have features just before he starts up the music skill. That's what you got to understand. He had mastered it to the same degree. Whether or not you like the music, the sales showed. The quality of music showed. There was very few people who could understand that. Now, who's left is not seeing this. What do? They make a video, they rush it on the World Star, they nod their head to their video. Oh, I got a couple million views off of that. What type of promissory did you gain to purchase of your album? See, the genius artists who have started to pull it back on track have created successful YouTubes they upload on. They've created successful social media they're interacting with their group with, not stupid, but with music teasers into an album. They still don't see it. They don't see, oh, y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see it. And y'all won't. Because you're too busy patting your own back, licking your own behind, that you don't see you're falling behind in the game. A new artist comes out tomorrow and does it, he surpasses you in money. He surpasses you in rivalry. And then you got to try and get on a feature to be up to the same stardom this new guy did. Let's be real. Blueface. He's doing it well. He has a single hit. He's pushing all over the place. And he's building for the album. It's linked to an album coming. People want to hear the next hit. How many people's songs you listen to and you said, oh, that's okay, and kept moving? We're not anticipating anything for you. And that is why no matter what you're trying to say about what you bring to the game, you're going to fall short. You're going to fall short. If you go on tour with a group and you don't have a hit song everybody's hungry to hear, you're getting lost in the fray. Your music's falling behind. Now, here's the thing. I heard some of the newer artists that were around X, and some of you trying to perform now, the music's bad. I'm sorry. It's bad. Here's the thing. If I call someone my homie and they're sitting there, listen to me kick trash, so not being in my own lane, that means you're rapping about the cars, the guns, the women, bragging on the chains, the jewel, whatever you're bragging about, and it doesn't stand out. It's trash. Doesn't matter how well you did. If you don't create a persona, you will get lost in the fray. And you doing a feature would make you food for another person to come up. Do you get how that works? You guys are still sliding into the same scheme of things, losing yourself in the boundaries. You're losing yourself in how music is created. That's the whole purpose of marketing. Who's marketing these guys? Just because someone marketed that hit artist doesn't mean they're going to be able to market me the same. I have to build my own self before someone does it. If I didn't build CommenterNation to this level, would it even be recognizable amongst other YouTubers? No. Every day I watch other YouTubers trying to steal other YouTubers' skill while slandering that very YouTuber. Let me tell you the difference between me and how I did it. I don't do the news. I do and I don't. I talk about it, but I give my own take. You get lengthy content from me. It's not just a few minutes. If it's a minute or two, I'm literally talking about a live stream. I don't cut down my stuff. My lives I do, I interact with everyone as I should. I don't play those games. I don't do those type of things. I don't play with the media. I don't play with superstars' names. I'm really talking about something if I am. I don't sit up here just pointing at every normal person. I rarely acknowledge haters unless I really should, or unless I'm just feeling like it that day. Just depends how I'm feeling about it. But I take to media with energy, and I do it different than the rest. How many people see my sons and daughters hopping up here? Don't matter how old they are. My sons and daughters hopping up, trying to do what daddy's doing, but coming at me while they're doing it. You can do it, but I've never spoken about you. You put words in my mouth. Then I have to say about you because I'm aware you exist as I am of many other things. But I just don't find it important until you choose to speak a certain way. Then I got to remind you because if you're not remembering, I'll bring your memory back. Now, Queen, you're doing a lot of different things. There has been a New York underground artist we will be speaking to the very next lives we do coming soon in the next week. Underground. And she's dope. She's not bad. And she is a fan of Queen Prodigy, having watched her do different things, admiring her energy. That's the stuff we do. That's the difference between what we do here. Yeah, we're young, but we're not moving young and dumb like y'all, making excuses. AKA, oh, he had the money because he's young, can't blame him. No, he wasn't like you, Prairie Dog. He wasn't like you. Come on. Let me ask everyone this. Now, we are now acknowledging different situations and finding synonymous interactions between a past occurrence and a recent occurrence. Do you believe it's possible someone having secret interactions with investigators? Hear me out. Secret interaction with investigators led them to a level by which to utilize that to get others around them in trouble? Queen, Chris, Zabella?
Repeat again.
Do you believe secret interactions with someone being linked closely to investigators could have potentially caused issue for others around them?
Any anything is possible at this point. That's kind of the way that I feel. I feel like everything is very intricately organized pertaining to this situation.
Isabella, is she on mute or is she there? We'll come back to her. Chris.
Yeah, can you repeat that real quick?
No, I was gonna ask another question. Dealing with this situation, and I gotta ask this: have you ever been to a party where cops were partying just as hard as everyone else?
Nah, never. And I would have felt uncomfortable if that was the case too.
Right. So why would someone be comfortable unless they had dirt on the cop? Now, do you think or feel that it's possible if officers were someone's friends that they could leverage this to either cause harm or get out of trouble themselves?
Yeah.
So if we talked about this in a prior story, we discussed how there were investigators at a case. If they're from the same district, if I see a name that's on a report and it's a synonymous name with this X case, if all of this is alleged, do you believe that it was just that deep?
Yeah.
Why would an investigator's name dealing with a completely different murder, okay, be linked to having anything to do with this case here? Interesting.
That is interesting.
And I see the ones that just joined. Don't worry. We already made the necessary calls. You just love me, don't you? So my perception was looking at friends. My perception, I did not know how deep the investigation link went. Didn't know it. So if I'm to presume this, and I'm to presume you're also showing up at these parties, I should also presume that the amounts of substance that were confiscated throughout 2018, some of it may have went missing. Right? Your party, you showed up with the substance. You didn't have to pay for it, did you? And you think they don't know? They're just hoping no one said nothing. You see, that's a difference. So if I'm to link certain people, investigators together, that would clearly open up and link other people. Interesting. Now, here's what's crazy. Some of the investigators I have kids. And TheCzarr knows who it is. Yeah. So let me ask you guys, what would you do if your dad was an investigator and you receive videos of him bussing down or getting bussed down involving strippers or male strippers or anything? How would you feel if you received something like that?
I would feel would have been like my dad's dick.
Okay.
I would have been like,
oh man,
what are you doing? You know, you question it, like, what are you doing?
As a woman, queen, how would you feel if you received pictures and videos of your dad getting either dug out or digging out a stripper, whether it's male or female? How would that make you feel?
Well, I think it would be embarrassing. It would be humiliating. I would definitely, wonder. I mean, it would just initially be humiliating and wonder why would someone be in the closet for so long and not come and be honest and be, just be honest about who they are.
But look, it's nothing wrong with that. It's a married man, I'm just saying if he's using his power to take substance from the person you take it from is serving time, but you're using that same substance and you're going busting down strippers with it. Why? Or let's take another route. What if it's two buddies on the force busting each other down?
Okay, really quickly. I just want to add something to the situation. We currently live in a country that is run by a fraternal order.
Oh.
And fraternal
United
orders,
Nations greatest nation,
usually get into situations to where they initiate each other in booty sex. Excuse my language.
Okay.
They initiate each other in that aspect, and we were talking about how people use their root chakras and sexual energy, and that's how sometimes these higher orders. So I'm not saying all Masonic lodges are like this, but some of them are, and higher Masonic orders or higher orders, fraternal orders, use a little booty in the tootie. They do it at Yale as well to initiate.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything. But the only thing that I want to say is if you're wearing a badge and you're busting down or getting dug out, I hear you. And if you try and play with me, I'll make the whole world hear you. That's all I'm telling you. I'm reminding you. So they could play with me, but I'm going to play for keeps. I'm going to make sure your child comes home, and when you're trying to scold them, they look you in your eyes like, Dad, all you do is snort and take D. And you wouldn't even think it. I mean, you wouldn't think that. But here's the thing. I don't even care that they're doing. It's just like you're arresting people. So the same people who are with prostitutes, strippers, you're arresting them. The same people who have substance, you're arresting them. How dare you try and entertain that? And then put on the thing, you go to work. Oh, this cocaine's out my system in 2 days. Really? Aren't you carrying a gun, sir? Who gave you your power? Now, see, what a lot of them might not know is Florida's been cleaned up multiple times. And trust me, I ain't just talking about Florida. You know, if I'm talking about it somewhere else, I got pictures and videos on lock here. Like, I will railroad you guys. You guys, I won't even be nice with it if they play with me. I will send it to your wife. I will send that picture to your wife and that photo to your wife. I'm just gonna do you extra dirty because I'm just tired of y'all. Y'all play too much, and I'm not playing with y'all. I talked to one of them on the phone. I said, I know you tried to use your crowbar on my window. He's like, ah. I was like, do it again, and I'm going all the way. Haven't messed with my window, but please come back and do it because now I got cameras. So now not only will I have video you doing that, I'll make that the intro. Hold on, they're playing with me. YouTube don't like it. They're playing with me. I know. All right, let's go. They get the point. They get the point now. They know I'm not playing now. So I see somebody hop in the comments and they said these words. Nessie Banks says Drake is a copycat. Do you believe that?
They don't have time to think and process lyrics or to do anything when they're making money and doing commercials and partying and sniffing cocaine on a regular basis. There's no time.
Hold on. Oh, you're talking about the cops, not I got you. I don't. No, I don't.
I mean, look, some people do speedballs up the booty. It's been done before.
I ain't gonna talk about nothing. Whoa.
Oh well.
Let's not talk about that. Because that usually.
If I can sit here and see certain people that were around, like basically within his Jaws crew, who were doing certain things, and I didn't even know they were doing certain things, and I called them out on it and told them to. I ain't saying that's what they did. I'm just saying they might have done other things. Let me clarify before everybody think that people speedballing up the booty in that circle. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying if I'm able to figure out or understand what certain people were doing behind the scenes without actually looking all up into their business, because I don't do that. I got my own life. I literally have my own life. I have another job. I do what I do. If I'm able to call them out on their stuff from what he told me, then guess what? I'm going to believe when somebody who he don't like lets me know that somebody want to be speedballing up the booty.
Now, let me bring this out. Let me see how I'm going to say this. I'll come back to that idea. But do you believe that if we're to presume that deals work a certain way and that the games has 360 deals going on, do you think it's potentially artists that are men that truly engage with artists? So is it possible for two artists to meet up and their goal isn't to just make music together, but to make music together?
What kind of music are you talking about?
Like the music that involves turning on some Al Green.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course it's possible in the studio, I guess.
Yeah, so if I'm thinking that way, could it have been a possibility that X may have stumbled upon something he shouldn't have saw?
100%.
Why wouldn't these artists just come out and say, yo, I know we're homies, but we're getting it on? Why wouldn't they just say that?
I guess for the same reason why a lot of people don't want to come out the closet. They're afraid, embarrassed.
Well,
they got an image to uphold.
I don't really care about that, but why is it that gangster music can't be respected like that? Like, how can't you be what makes you not gangster? Because you get your buns busted. What makes you not gangster? I'm just objectively trying to understand this. Why someone would do that? What makes you not gangster? Like, how are you not a G because you get your buns torn up? Or I guess I don't understand, because I remember Repo. In the words of Cat Williams, that's a gay killer. That's a gay killer. Really? Like, I don't understand. So, but
it's just something that's not like, of the norm to be put together in the same, imagery and category. You can't get, it's like weird. It's like saying, yo, this guy, you got people just do it, and he pulled out, he shot you a few times, and he shot you with his pink gun. So, they had like little bunny.
Right. No, here's why I'm saying this. The guy showed a pink bag full of money. He might have been a G. For all I know, he went up on the block and robbed somebody for it. Like, give me that. Give me that. Like, how do I know? But at the same time, what I'm not getting is how there's a certain image to be portrayed, but they got mad someone was mentioning it or someone seen something and took offense. Or took offense they wouldn't participate.
Those are those type of secrets that people take to their grave.
Look, I don't understand why all of y'all don't get it. It's called a 360 deal for a reason. And here's the reason. I'm gonna tell you, it's not just about everybody getting into the pot of getting their bread. It's about everybody getting into the pot and taking the soul.
Okay. Is that taken through your butt?
How'd you know that?
Okay. I was just wondering.
Booty goons be working with the ops too, you know.
Well, how do we know that half the brotherhood? We know that's a brotherhood. However they announce themselves, wearing the badges aren't in this 360 deal. And what do they gain out of it?
Exactly. Why would there be such a big ordeal about exposing a hip hop police? And when you were looking back in the 90s, right?
Right.
When Mob Deep, Biggie, Pac, everybody else has something going on. Next thing you know, you hear about the hip hop police specifically targeting these men and knowing exactly where they are at all times and being able to basically lock them down whenever they feel like it.
Interesting. So, okay. So why? Okay, so we understand that part. I'm getting what you're saying. If X was independent and he was doing it and he didn't need to get a deal, would that mean someone was around him was jealous because they had to get that 360 deal and he didn't?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
Would someone be upset they had to get that 360 deal and he didn't?
There's a lot of artists that had to go ahead and do that. Like if you look at his success, right? He can chart up to #1 effortlessly with whatever content that he would put out. May not get the same respect from the media because, funny enough, as a very conscious rapper once said, who would go by the name of Bradley. I don't know if I can say his name, but his alter ego is Bradley. He would often say that certain people have put in certain effects to where they sign with the machine and they can put in media blocks to be able to make them look amazing, look great, look good, and be able to make others look unfavorable, right? Mm-hmm. So if he didn't necessarily have to do that, wouldn't you be a little bit butthurt if you had to go through that process and basically homies get in the bag and he look better than you?
I have too much love for myself, so I guess I couldn't understand that. But I mean, I guess I could see it if someone breaks to that, like if they're like, like why? Okay. Let me ask this then. If your girl chose to get busted down by another one of the homies around you, why would you still feel some type of way about that being your girl, knowing she's a bust down for everybody that's around? I'm not like, I guess these guys, it's like, Big Papa's words. Don't bring your girl around me, true player for real. That's my homies for real. Like, if you knew X was getting it in like that, why would you consistently bring your girl around? Like, this is Tentacion. This is Tentacion. Especially if one point in time he publicly told people on social media that he was going to bone your girl out. I mean, is there any understanding for this?
So you're talking about someone specific within the circle?
Yeah. Like, if you knew you were going to get your girl boned out, like, why would you take her around? I don't understand that.
But what if Shorty was going about her way on her own free will before he even came around?
True. So you're saying, what if she was spreading for everybody?
I mean, I'm not specifically saying that, but I mean, when you're looking at certain situations, it looks kind of suspect.
Right. So if we're going to agree with that, are we now getting to motive for people and why they did things?
As far as attempting to gain what?
Why would an ex-boyfriend, after all this time, okay, all the media, everything, come back to vandalize someone else's memorial just off of what? Where did, like, why now?
I mean, my thing is, that's what I'm trying to understand, because for me, it's really heartbreaking to see that something was done out of positivity, and then it was vandalized, and then done out of out of good energy again, and then it was re-vandalized. But then when you're comparing certain things or just looking at how people are going back and forth about who's saying what, it just makes the whole situation very uncomfortable, because it's like, okay, was this all a ploy? Was this all planned for a situation to gain some sort of clout, or to gain some sort of attention?
What?
And that's the part that hurts, is that this wasn't done out of sincerity, out of love for someone who means a lot to the world. You know what I mean? That's the part that would hurt the most. You know what I mean? I don't want to accuse nobody of nothing. I ain't siding with nobody. I'm just looking at the situation like it's both. At the end of the day, whoever did what, I feel like each individual is equally responsible, and it's disrespectful.
Okay, so in my mind, there's three things that we're looking at. Envy. Just so everyone gets the picture. Or maybe I should write it the other way. I gotta write it backwards. Yes, there are three things that I am looking at that are making me think about this entire situation, and I'm gonna show you shortly. And I want everyone to give their opinion on this. I may have written it weird, but does that make sense to everybody? Love, envy, revenge. You get it now? Are you getting it? Every single topic that I've covered and looked at in detail revolve around these three factors: love, envy, revenge. Why would this be? Whether we're talking about a mother's love for a son, a girl's love for a deceased rapper, a person's love of the game, a person's love for music, a person's love for hoes, a person's love for flowing, a person's love for themselves, a person's love of a situation, love of money, which is the root of evil. It's not money, dummies. It's the love of money that is the root of evil. That's what it says. So people love money so much, they'll almost do anything. Envy. People envious of others' music. People envious of the fact people are getting certain girls. People envious of what someone has they don't. Someone envious of a deal. Someone envious they have to be in a certain deal they can't get out. Envious others aren't in the deal they're in. Envious that they can't have what someone else has. Revenge. Revenge. You see, revenge comes quicker when someone loves the money or loves the attention, because they may not feel someone deserves it. So revenge is what they use as a means if they do not have a man mindset. If you don't have a man's mindset, revenge would be the first thing on your plate. That means if you're chasing after women, but you're built like these women, that's your choice right there. It's not hard. It's very easy, especially when you can see someone is not built solid enough to chase what they believe in. It's easy to see you. I see ya. Because you're not built right. You can do the most gangster stuff, but that's what I'm saying. It's not whether they like each other. It's not whether they're messing with another member. It's not if they're messing with the same woman. It's that envy, revenge, and you love something that's not loving another person. So you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. If you didn't know that about, and I'm talking to the members and whoever's hanging around, if y'all didn't know that, now you do. That's where it's easy to do an investigation. That's how I know investigators were funny. Because if you looked at those factors and you're a real detective, you would have quickly seen have wanted revenge on this superstar for a particular reason. It's simple mathematics. Simple. Such a simple. Listen, you could take those three things I showed you and put it to any case and almost pull out something. And the rare occasions is a random person of circumstance. But what is their problem? They love so much of something they can't get. It's their love of something they can't get. It's not envy. It's the love of a woman that they can't have, the love of a situation that they can't be a part of. So they find a way to get revenge. Don't you see this? I'm smelling revenge. Whether, and the pettiest thing, guys, here's how petty revenge could be. There was a story in the news, and I put that, you just seen what I put to every case. There's a story in the news where a father and a mother, here's what they did. The child would not be quiet, and they didn't want it to happen. So they beat the child and beat them. They wanted them to shut up. So they're like, since you're causing my ears pain, I'll cause you physical pain. Revenge, retaliation. They're doing something to make them feel as painful as they allege to feel. Another story where the father killed the mother. And then next thing he does is he loads his troop of kids into the van or SUV, whatever he had. He drove them to a spot where he drowned all of them together. How sad is that? How sick is that? That a person goes as far as to love something and hate something, to sacrifice their own creation to have some type of peace, or sacrifice someone they should love around them to have some sort of joy. When you were told in your life that to be incredible, it takes sacrifice, that was only half true. They never told you what you needed to sacrifice in order to accomplish. But that's the thing. If you put all your accomplishment into the world we live in, you'll lose self and self-accomplishment. And that doesn't mean, oh, I selfishly get this. No. It's about you understanding what it is and who it is that you aim to become, to leave a legacy behind of your name. That is what's missing in this case. And I don't see it missing with X. I see it missing with a lot of others. That's how I know something's funny about you. Every time I look, I know something's funny. Every time you speak, depending on how you speak, I can see when it's off, because you're missing one of these three things. You see, revenge can be put in a good way. Because I lost, I'm going to get back better than ever. That's a form of revenge. Because I hate how that happens, I'm going to use my love. See, now I'm showing you an intricate trick, because you're using love and envy in a successful, positive way. Because that happened, I'm going to love like I never loved before over here. Don't you understand? We as human beings utilize these things every day to become stronger, think positive, to think better, to achieve for the people we love. But see, the problem is, if you've ever used that to make yourself brighter and bigger than someone beside you trying to feed you, you lost form of self. And that is a form of self you can't get back, because you tried to use someone as a stepping stone for pebbles. Get what I'm saying? You tried to use someone as a stepping stone for pebbles. There's no care for that. If that's how you're built, that's how you're built. So that's why before you use the term, oh, I'm a man's man, I'm a real one, know what it means. Has nothing to do with a weapon, has nothing to do with being a thug, has everything to do with knowing yourself. And that's what a lot of you don't have. So that's why I told y'all in that situation, be slow to say this and that, because I don't see it. You want to know how I'd see it? First off, if your music was different, if you didn't sound like X's ad-libs on the track or tried to rap like him. You know how I know it? Because you picked the hoes over the flows. That's how I know it. How do I know it? Because I hear about a 16-year-old girl strangled in a hotel bathroom. Just to know you were even around and they did that to themselves. That's how I know it. Allegedly. That's how I know it. So all that fancy stuff, holding up the hand and doing different, you could do all that. But when you say real, recognize real, know what it means. Know what it means. Because that ain't real. And whoever taught you that, go get a different mentor. That's all I gotta say about that. Because, you know, a lot of people, they come on, you hear people come through, say things. I'm showing you the difference between authenticity. That's why you're not authentic like me, because you don't understand that. The love, envy, and revenge, these forms of using them carefully and using them in a successful way, lacking. It's lacking in grown men at that. That's how I know. That's how I can see you. You don't have it. You don't got it. When we are made objective, we go off of what's presented. I don't go off my resentment or hate for someone. Oh, I hate that woman. Oh, I hate that man. I don't go off of like that. I look at your actions and I look at what's presented before me. That's how I conclude it. And I use those three factors. That's how I can see funny business. Just so they know. See, I always put the key in front of you. It's up to you whether you want to accept it or not. I'm not making you, but that's how you know the difference between us. And when I say that, I mean the people that are hopping in comments, people coming on slandering my commenters, making comments about Queen, making comments about Chris, making comments about Zabella. That's how I know you're not authentic, because you wouldn't have to make comments. You would build up your own platform, your own setting, do your own psychic readings, find your own thing to participate in, rock with anyone else, have your own post, do instead of coming at people, coming for people. I seen you guys come for people in the comments, like at them, like you know them, making comments on the backside, saying little things about us, just trying to start problems when we're here asking questions as everyone. Do you notice the people that ask questions over here? Do you notice how enlightened they are? Do you see how smart their questions are? And you got a problem with that? No. Wait. You don't have a problem with nothing else going on in this world, but you got a problem with that. But then I guess when you guys raise kids, you want them to do the right thing. Oh, you want no one to take advantage of your kid. Oh, leave my kid alone. You don't want no one bullying your kid. You don't want no one hurting your kid. You don't want no one taking your kid. You don't want nothing bad happening to you and yours. But you want to wish the worst on everyone else. Interesting. And that's what my issue
Hey,
is.
I wanted to mention something really quick.
Mhm.
Now, do you remember roughly about I'd probably say maybe about the most a week ago, there's a situation to where there was a private account, right, created by someone who used to be formerly close to most of the people, and then moved away from the situation, and they were ecstatic about someone moving away.
Yes.
Okay, so you recall that, right?
Yes.
So basically, I'm just trying to understand, why do they keep throwing shade at someone that is very dear to John?
What are you presuming the reason is?
Because I just don't understand, because it seemed like from what I was able to read, that they were in basically waiting in line to get their turn to see the little one. And now that presumably, allegedly, that individual is no longer there, they can go to wherever this individual is and see the little one.
Explain this to me again.
Okay, so do you recall when I let you know that there was someone who created a unverified account?
Right.
Okay. And basically they use that account to kind of express how they feel. And they were ecstatic over the fact that this individual left a specific compound and went elsewhere. They were basically, yeah.
You went out for a second.
Yeah. So my thing is, basically, if you recall, this person, I just wanted to touch on that. Like, how do you feel about that when it comes down to, this person saying all of these things about someone that was very dear to him. I'm gonna type it on the back end.
Okay. If we're talking, are we talking about a friend or a direct person? I will. Oh, here's my thing about that. Okay. Um, ah, mm, uh, 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 my only thing with that is I don't know why they ran. I don't know why they're elsewhere. I don't know why they feel safe there. I'm gonna say that number one. Um, right, right. Hmm, that was a good one. Now that I get it, it's a good one. Here's the only thing I can say about that, I would think, would be if she came here because of another reason. If she came here, how did she get in the vicinity to be smashing X? That's the only thing I can say. How would she be in a position to smash X if that's how she's being used? Let me see something real quick, y'all. Hold on. Let me think. Oh, I didn't know that part. I didn't put two and two together on that part. I'm gonna keep it real. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. Um. mm, mm. Do you believe that? Okay. Do you believe that that could still be a place of comfort for them? That
You sound very.
what? What? I'm just asking.
Go ahead.
Do you believe that it could still be a place of comfort for him? Like she's just is she just man, is she just getting passed around like that? That's my first thought. Is she just getting passed around like that? Well, let me say this. Now, let me turn this back on you like this. Doesn't that make sense why they wanted to get dropped off and lied that they'd had to go somewhere? Queen?
That they had to get dropped off and go somewhere.
Yeah, like they got dropped back off at the house and was like, oh yeah, I'm just about to head back home and never headed home. Because they were about to get on the train but got on another train.
Could be, but my thing is like, I mean, because there's two different types of phrases in polyamorous relationships. There's polygamy, and then there's polyandry, right? So let's just define both. Polygamy is when a man, right, has a multitude of different females, right?
Right.
And the opposite is for polyandry is when a female has a plethora of men. So I'm just trying to figure out what kind of voodoo juju bust it down is somebody doing to get all of that attention on them?
Okay, here's my thing. What if they played a game and it was called Russian Roulette of the Nut, and she was just going from room to room,
Whoa.
and it was like, we'll see who got her pregnant, and it just got passed off because we would presume that her descent would be able to make it say it was somebody's kid regardless. It'll be hard to tell. But the game was, let's see whose genes are stronger. Would that change?
You know, I don't even know what to
weird.
say.
That would be really weird.
And he really never say they tried to push themselves on him and he didn't want no parts of them. And they felt some type of way. So in the end, the resentment would be, you never smashed this, so forget you. Right? Because it's like, I never touched you, and the world thinks that you had that we did something when I ain't even kiss your lips. And now I have to live with the fact that we never touched, but I touched everybody around you. But then that will go hand in hand with the wifing of a pass around piece, because we see tattoos and things. And that would make more sense, because instead of me sitting here saying that in a song, listen to it, it's plural. When the way it's said is plural, like, yeah, I gotta turn on everybody busting down, and all you we're worried about the holes, you were worried about the flows. You get how it was someone else who was focused on their craft and won versus someone who was focused on getting a turn. So as long as I get my turn to ride the train, I'm good. Someone who would say they pick holes over the flows, they ain't getting cheats. If you would, rather than a successful legacy, you rather pick the holes, you must not be getting any. Because someone who's getting them ain't even got to talk about that. Man mindset number one, you ain't got to talk about it, you just do it. Because it's second nature. We heard X talk about dates, but we ain't never hear him brag about somebody he was with, unless he was saying RIP to a person that committed suicide, allegedly. It's a lot of hanging out. Like, it's not a lot of people doing their own thing. It's a lot of hanging out. I mean, I don't know what you think, what your thoughts are about it. It's a lot.
Mean, There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I don't know exactly what to think, because here's my thing. From the things that were said to me, because hey, people said certain things, like I was saying something specific about this person, and it was actually relayed to me through other individuals that are pretty way closer to the situation than I am, speaking about that person. And again, why would I speak on someone that I've, never had any inclination or even cared to really put any energy into? And now there's just all of this explosion since the premiere, and now everything is just like, from what I've been told, now everything online is disappearing or starting to slightly calm down or fade from the explore page of that person.
Yes, it's not the only person I caught erasing things.
Like what?
Some stuff. Wow. How about this? What is the best revenge for a person if a guy keeps knocking off the girls around me, like hitting it? What is the best revenge for a person to do, other than the fact they can't steal the girls around you?
Sorry, went out.
What would be the best thing to do if I could not get to the girls around you?
I mean, the best thing to do is wait when that individual wouldn't be around, I would assume, or be around very close to that individual to where they can't suspect nothing in their own space.
Or to try and smash the one thing they can't run away from or replace.
Are you implying other other exes from Christmas past?
No, it wouldn't be an X at all. It would be like, well, you hitting everything else, but I'm gonna hit the one woman you can't avoid.
The one woman you can't avoid.
Yeah, like the one woman that can't be dodged. Like, I'm hitting all these girls, but I ain't hitting this one woman they're trying to hit. Wouldn't that be the best revenge?
That would be a good way to get back. One way to get back, at least. But if I see, well, talking about dudes here, I see them going a little farther than that.
I found that very interesting. And then, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say anymore. But dealing with that situation, I see very strong potential in making revenge of that level. Whereas, that's checkmate in every level. That's checkmate. If I hit the one woman that you're connected to that you can't even hit, that's checkmate. It's like
we're talking about a woman, right? Not like a young woman. Like an adult woman.
Right? Yes, we're talking about the woman who you would never hit because they mean too much to you. But I slide through and she's just another, just cheeks to me.
Yeah.
So what if I walked in on that, or I found out that was happening? Wouldn't that change my vibe with everybody? Bad vibes. Bad vibes. Right there. Bad vibes. Right there. That's the worst vibes could get. Because at that point, it's already done, and someone already holds something over my head so heavy that if I would try and do anything or say anything, they'd bring that up. That would always rub me the wrong way. Especially if the person in my life was very attractive, they were very hip, they were good around people. That'd be bad vibes. And that's just another thing I gotta live with, having on my mind. And the vandalism, crazy, crazy. Why is the boyfriend comparing handwriting that looks just like someone close, right close to him? How are you comparing that handwriting and it looks alike? If you were going to set someone up for it, why would you write it in your handwriting? That was the dumbest thing ever. Stupid. You're just dumb. You're dumb.
I'm sorry, if I could just like put this in really quick, because I know I'm talking a lot in this chat.
No, you're good.
But I need to make one thing clear. If you are a hoe, there is no such thing as being a good hoe. All hoes are demonic. And the reason why I say this is because that's what the Bible, every other thing, every other book always says that there are incubus and succubus out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no difference between actually thinking that it is some sort of a spirit when we are spirits that animate the body. So think about that.
Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I did not see the Medea movie, but the Lord does speak.
The Medea movie was very interesting. I will say that, to say the least. And I'll leave that at that.
I want to know from and Nias, or what exactly makes a good hoe? Is it her performance? Is that what makes her a good hoe? Does she actually hoe and then give to the homeless? Like, tell me what a good hoe is, please.
Are you asking me? Chris,
Oh no, I'm
what's
talking about in the.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Chris, what's a good hoe? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Chris? Oh, he got quiet. Okay. The only terms I know explain a good hoe would be a woman that's really good at what they do. That's the only thing. Right? Do you disagree, Queen?
is how they are performing?
Yes, they perform well.
I mean that is
But a woman.
oh, so basically, this person was saying her loyalty makes her a good hoe. So what is okay? So here's my thing. So okay, because we're gonna talk about this. This is getting so much fun. Because my thing is this. Like I said before, my father. Okay, my father still is wonderful, amazing person, amazing being. You know, he was a bartender. He was, bus driver. He was a firefighter. But then my father also had gigs that weren't necessarily, suitable towards the community. He was a drug dealer and he was a pimp. He had no shame in letting me know that because he wanted me to be a respectable woman in his honor and to change the karmic situation that he had going on in his life. So at the end of the day, a loyal hoe, if we're gonna be talking about hoes, basically if she bring the bag back, if she basically do whatever is commanded of you to do, she don't talk back, she keep her head down, does that make her a good hoe? Right? I would presume that everybody thinks that with that mentality that will make her a good hoe. But if you were to think about, let's just say instead of a pimp taking, a pimp wants to take 95% of her money and leave her 5% for change, but she over here skimming underneath to make sure that she can get maybe at least 40-50% of her earnings, so that way she can take care of her life or her offspring or whatever the situation is. Would that constitute her for being a bad hoe, or would that constitute her for being a good mother?
Well, in that scenario, I think it would just make her stupid. My opinion. I think she's just stupid. If you gonna be out here, you hoeing, you bring back that man maybe 5-10%, and you keep the rest. Your body was given up for exchange. So if you're willing to make that deal, I think you're stupid. Again, I always tell people this in one of the greatest pimps of New York's book. I learned from that book that, and Dave Chappelle directed me to it. What he did, this is how he broke a hoe. He beat them with a hanger in an instance. But he'd be the same one nursing them back to health. So not only are you the pain they think of, but you're the pleasure of healing they think of. That is how he would train them. So me causing you pain and me bringing you back makes you think that I'm all you need. So it traps you to think a certain way. And understand the way hoes are looked at are in terms of mileage. How much mileage is on that hoe? How many miles she got till she's done? So, yeah, it's a sad thing.
It is, but you know what they're doing? I'm gonna explain to you what they're doing. They're using a level of a Freudian complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say this, we talk about Oedipus Rex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we talk about different situations of how it pertains to the mother, okay?
Right.
Regardless of how you throw it, our parents are the ones who discipline us, right?
Right.
So in a pimp a hoe situation, you gonna break her like she was coloring on the wall, and then you gonna turn around. That's the disciplinary of a mother or father, but usually coming from the father as a disciplinary. And then you're gonna turn around and nurture, right? Which would give the concept of giving some sort of affection of what a mother would give to someone.
Okay.
And that's why people think that they being loved, because that's what they grew up with, right? They grew up with get the switch.
Okay.
Get the switch. Now I'm sure a hanger might hurt just as much as a switch, but I'm sure they both burn the same. No.
I agree, but me personally, I don't see a reason to put my hands on a woman. Like, here's how I see it. If they don't listen to your words, you're not respected off the top. You're not respected. But they want to make someone respect them with force. But all you do is build resentment. Those are the same guys who wake up with a woman holding a gun to her head or holding a knife to their neck if they already didn't
But
use
here's
it.
the difference, though. There's a situation to where you can be a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can say, all right, I don't mind. Maybe some men do, maybe some men don't. They don't mind it when a woman calls them daddy, okay? Now, in this particular situation, they legit answer their men as daddy, and they report to them. And their report card is that bag, right?
Right.
So that's where there's a difference between good men who respect their own word, their own well-being, and don't have to put their hands on women. But what we're talking about are men that have no self-control over themselves and take it out on other people to feel dominant.
Right. I fully agree with that. I fully agree with that. I like that. I actually like that explanation. I agree. But for a man to even think he has to do that to gain respect, isn't there some type of insecurity behind what he says and what he does?
There has to be. That's the reason why when people have the ultimate desire to be powerful in whichever form, whichever way, and they attempt to use that power to gain leverage for social opinion, that has a deep effect, regardless of how big or how small your circle is. That has a deep effect on whether if someone believes if they're wrong or right. That doesn't even matter. That's out the window. The only thing that they care about is having acceptance in their own form of control.
Well, let me ask this too. So what are your thoughts of the guy who hangs around guys who are in gangs and they're doing stuff and they're tough, however they perceive being tough, and everybody's riding around shooting guns, talking tough, starting beef until they're alone, and what they did earlier in the group they're not doing alone? Or what are their thoughts? Why would they find that comprehensible or acceptable versus them solo handling business and being respected just for that?
I mean, as far okay, so basically, when they're by themselves, all of that fades. But when they're around other people, they all about that hype. Is that what you're saying?
Right. How, if you're going to talk trash with the group, why aren't you alone across the street? It don't matter if they're 5 deep. It don't matter if they're 20 deep. Why aren't you saying what you say when the group's around?
Because here's the thing. You know what I noticed when it comes down to, and I don't know if we're speaking about men, women. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It can be anyone.
It could be anyone.
But my thing is, the situation is, you have to think about energy, right?
Right.
Consciousness. If you think about how social events happen, it's magnified, right? Somebody goes to a concert, people go to concerts in massive droves. The energy is crazy. There's so much energy compact like sardines. And they're all idolizing people on a black cube. I'm getting really deep right now. They're idolizing people on a black cube. And basically they're keeping that person, they're idolizing that person while they're standing on a square. Now beyond that point, I feel like I'm speaking like some Islamic type stuff right now, but I ain't even gonna go there. I'm really deep, all right. But here's my thing: when you look at even when let's just say monks, they meditate together. When they meditate together, I'm gonna put it in a positive form. When they meditate together, they can actually reduce violent criminal activity within a city. There's actually a level of calmness because it is the effect of the consciousness of the vibration that is being amplified in that energy. That's why I be telling people, meditate, clear your mind, be grateful, do something, pray, whatever it is to clear your consciousness. Because you'll never know what you could be walking into if you ain't prayed up, or else you're going to get laid up.
Okay, so
when you're by yourself, don't you think that all of those human insecurities start to present themselves when you are no longer in a higher consciousness around people who feel confident amongst themselves?
if you don't have knowledge of self, you know what I mean?
And what makes you think that most people have some sort of knowledge of themselves?
That's the thing. They create what they think it is, but it's just them creating the image in order for others to like them.
So basically, it's out for show for the camera.
Not even. It's not for the camera because it's behind closed doors. It's just to believe that they're real, to make themselves believe they're real and that what they're doing is real, just so they could say, I'm real.
So let's just say this. So let's just say Jennifer Lopez, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Pepsi commercial and she's singing, "'Cause I'm real." But we all know that Pepsi can break down battery rust. Does that make Pepsi real? For the human body?
You hear, Queen?
You said what?
I said Pepsi can also help with asthma attacks. If a lot of people don't know that if you're having an asthma attack, Pepsi has a chemistry that it can help replace the inhaler at a moment's notice.
Well, why would they need an inhaler, which is technically let's say it like this. It's technically still a form of a synthetic that only treats the surface. It's a treatment. It's not the cure. So does the treatment make it real?
What makes it real is the feeling that they're having and the paranoia they may have because of the feeling. But what gives them comfort is knowing that there's a solution close by.
Yeah, but the solution is not the cure. So my thing
isn't.
is, and this is wait. This is why I go so hard when I talk about being vegan and going alkaline to my people. All y'all are my people, and I care about every single one of y'all. Even if y'all believe me, don't like me, I don't give a damn. Excuse me, I don't care. It doesn't matter. My thing is that at the end of the day, the ultimate cure is the alkaline way, or is when you fast. I bet you, if people were to fast, all of their ailments would be gone, cured, because we are made of 70% water.
Okay.
I agree with that too. It's just hard not to change when you're accustomed to one lifestyle where they program you to eat meat, beef, and to go that route. You know, it's hard to say no to a cheeseburger.
All right, but you weren't born with a TV though. You were probably born with the DNA, from what your parents ate, right?
Yeah.
But all of those things are habitually overcome with self-mastery. That's how you know yourself. That's how you determine when you're real, is when you can heal yourself and you ain't got to see a doctor for nothing. You know why Black people don't want to go see doctors? Because they instinctively know that they don't need them. They just don't know the cure.
That's understood.
Yeah.
But let me bring it back to this ideology. So when I was saying that a person would, all right, back to the asthma thing. Yeah, Pepsi, she says I'm real, Pepsi's there. Like for Pepsi, it could have hidden uses. So we don't know every use, but say the ones we do know. Now, let's say we're using Pepsi's idea as someone, for better lack of terms, keeping the can close by. So keeping a gun on them. Let's say they don't know the many good uses for a gun, but they know that it's something their friends keep on them and say, don't get caught without it. But whether they want to or not, they don't want to live life that way. But they live that way because that's the environment they put themselves in. Not that they have to choose to be there. They say we're stuck here and things because they cope with the people they call their friends. But it doesn't mean that is actually who they could be. Doesn't mean they couldn't choose to be any different. They choose to be there. Or else they would do something else.
But because why? Why do they choose to be there? Because their family is there, right?
Sometimes.
Okay, sometimes. Now, why is it that we as human beings, because people, look, Czar, me and you at this present moment, right now, we currently are about hotel life, right? And to other society, they believe that having a home, having an apartment, having a house, having a mansion, whatever, is the norm. But I don't understand, why is it that birds, animals, have the instinctive knowledge to know that migration is necessary for survival? Because I believe in this saying, and this is pertaining to the case of Ja as well. Basically, you can come from the nest, but if you don't leave the nest will kill you.
Okay. I agree. I agree. But also,
So it's about breaking the mold. Because for me, I'm like, nah, in my soul, in my spirit, I know my grandfather was a sailor, the other one was a conductor in London. Okay. And he was born in Cuba, lived in Jamaica, lived in London, traveler. I got traveler's blood. You understand what I mean? And so when you have that blood, it allows you to evolve, to see different cultures, to see different point of views. Can you imagine if the kids in the United States, right, if there was some sort of federally government program that invested into the arts, invested into allowing children to travel around the world, or to even, you know what I'm saying, like to do like a, study abroad or something? Do you know how that would actually open the minds of so many kids? I made sure to travel abroad and go to Spain, Gibraltar, and Morocco, because I wanted to see what the world looked like. I wanted to taste what the food tastes like in comparison to what I have been isolated to. When you watch the news from another country's point of view, and you've seen what that statement was saying, let's just say Iraq, right?
mm-hmm.
When you see the Iraq war portrayed from the U.S. news point of view, and then you go overseas and they're reporting the same thing, but giving harder facts about what the U.S. government is doing, that'll make you think really different about what exactly you're putting your tax dollars into.
Yeah, but what makes me think the hardest is the lack of, let's say, conviction of the people interacting in the society. Because it's, even though it's at a government level, it's the people's interaction creates the solution. It's that people, and less emphasis on here's the answer to that question. It's like not even attempting, just saying, why are you doing that? Then coming at your neck. Another example is how people complain about saying, oh, tried to come at your credibility, which I can say off the rip, you're very credible. Tried to come at your credibility and never had you do it for them. But they want to put so much emphasis on how you're not real thing, but they don't really know. So we may really hear it and see implications, but we don't really know how deep it goes. So with our perception, we can only fight it from the level we're at until we may be forced with our backs against the wall. See, that's what people, I feel, take for granted. You'll see gangs and stuff saying, like, our backs are against the wall. But then you ask, did you finish school? No. Did you do this? No. Well, say you had to feed your family. You're out of school. You're doing what you're doing. Say your family's grown now. Why aren't you still getting educated? Or if you know you cannot be in a school setting, why are you not growing your mind some other way? We have to be careful to fight the excuse with the reality and see where we fit in to bring a solution. I believe everybody has a potential to bring a solution in a certain way.
And it's about, at the end of the day, because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that I've been, vegan or alkaline all my life. No, that's been a good 20 plus years or more of eating a certain way and living a specific lifestyle. But at the end of the day, my thing is that all of the damage that has been done from my ignorance, right? Because I would listen to Dr. Sabi, hear what he has to say, and then I would get frustrated because of the fact that I would have to give up so much of what I've been fed all my life. Why would I think that any of my ailments would stop? Until one day it clicked in my head, right? To where I recall having my last burger and realizing I wanted to see what it would be like to be without it, right? To be without eating specific things and how I would feel. Because at the end of the day, everything that is affecting it, any ailment in your body is going to start in your gut, period. 70% of our cognitive abilities come from our stomach and our heart first, period. That's scientific fact. So if you are actually taking on the consciousness of something that is nervous, that is fidgety, that knows that death is coming or torture is coming, why wouldn't that affect the cognitive ability of a human being?
I can understand that. I can understand that. I don't have an argument against that.
Yeah, me neither.
Again, I just said, someone please add timestamps to our live of when we covered certain situations. Before I wrap up anything, I wanted you, Chris, was there anything you wanted to talk about?
I mean, there hasn't been anything out in the news or anything like the media. Everything is just, it feels like it's a neutral right now, waiting for the trial for Polyamory to get more information on it. Just everything is flowing like it should be. The nation is here. We're here. We always here. Queen doing her thing. I don't see nothing else. now, I don't see anything else out of the norm.
Oh, another thing too. It was mentioned in the chat earlier that boat rights. I believe there's a trial coming up for boat right on the 28th of March, to which again we are currently in Mercury retrograde, and it is currently sitting in the last degree of Pisces, which is the 29th degree. And the reason why this is significant is because when you look at a life cycle, when someone is coming to terms at the end of their life cycle, they're coming into a space of collectiveness, into a space of realizing the realization of everything that is currently happening and trying to heal from what has been done. So when we're moving forward with this situation, please believe that on the 28th, there's going to be a lot of facts coming out pertaining to this case. So again, we work under maritime law. We work under maritime law, which maritime law is governed by the seas and the stars. Okay? This is why we all have birthdays. This is why we all follow a calendar system. And, you know, some people believe in it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, time is going to put you in and take you out. So you have to be able to sit there and say, you might not believe in astrology, you might not believe in anything, but at the end of the day, you are still governed by a maritime law that still believes in the constellations. So make sure that, why is it that this man wants specific information? And why is it being restricted for him to get it in the first place?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people can't answer that. But clearly, if someone wants to sniff through documentation, sniff through evidence, you know, sift through all that stuff, at the end of the day, there has to be something within those particular situations that are either going to show that he's looking for something specific that's either going to get him a lesser term or grant him his freedom. Now, keep in mind, I remember when they caught Boatwright, when they first detained him and it broke out on the news. I remember looking in the shade room, and there was someone who stated that they were Boatwright's cousin and saying that this man was innocent. Not even today, someone sent me a video of Diedrich Williams, talking about Diedrich Williams, and talking about his brother, saying that this man had nothing to do with that particular situation. Why are family members so vocal about this? And why are they going so hard at this case? And the other two are completely silent.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but
So really quick, on the 28th of March, we are moving into the age of Aries, right?
yes.
Or excuse me, not the age of Aries. We're moving into the time frame of Aries, which means that we're moving into the kingdom of God, into the Godhead. You have to think about your body. The temple is where Aries begins, right? The throat is where Taurus is, okay? And it goes on down, so on and so forth. I'm trying to teach y'all some things. So when it goes direct in the first degree of Aries, that means it's going to be an explosion. Aries is a fire sign, but it's a very explosive fire sign. Very explosive fire sign that puts out a lot of energy, a lot of information. So the information is going to be coming out in overload, in drive, basically, and it's not going to stop. And it doesn't care if you can handle it or not, because that is it's basically like the Big Bang. It just happens. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it goes direct, and now we're moving into the first degree of Aries with Mercury, meaning communication in what is being revealed, what is being spoken from the word of God, then we're going to really see what the truth is.
Yeah, I can understand that.
The thing that I love so much is that people, you know, they study the Quran, they study Torah, they study the Bible. All of those things, regardless of if people want to see it or not, was all based on astrology. Christ said, when they said, "Oh, when will you return?" They asked Christ, "When will we see you again?" Right?
Right.
When will you return? And Christ said, "Look for the man that bears the pitcher of water." Okay? And when you get that statement, okay, when you get that statement, people aren't actually applying that to astrology, which means the age of Aquarius, which we are currently moving into. We're currently experiencing it now. I'm talking to you right now via the internet, online, and we are using electric information, telepathic information. We use these devices because we think that we can't even use the power of our minds to communicate with each other. How is it that I can sit there and understand what's going on in somebody's head and their lives and their stories and hear communication from spirit, but people don't believe. They don't believe in those types of things. They don't believe that water of which you were made from, of which you were born from the womb of your mother, because you had to be indoctrinated through a doctor via maritime law to be inducted like a ship on land. Okay? But at the end of the day, y'all trying to tell me that water doesn't have simultaneous communication with each other when water is transmuted in its environment to turn into snow or turn into vapor? Come on now.
So what are you alluding this to as far as so I can understand?
I'm alluding this to the fact that communication, that the way that we are affected by our environments is vitally important, and the fact that we are way more capable of being higher conscious beings only if people were to take in enlightenment. When you say enlightenment, they say, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna just meditate, but I'm gonna go back and, you know, do whatever drugs I'm doing and eat whatever I'm eating, and that's enlightenment." Okay, yeah, that it will only take you so far, but enlightenment takes mind, body, and spirit. And when you focus on the body, which is 95% of your being, and actually mastering what you take into your body, and if you're eating light, then you attain enlightenment.
Okay. Understood. And how do you think this is being utilized or not utilized?
Here's the thing. If we're looking at a television,
Uh-huh.
the television was originally created by a Kenyan woman who was so telepathic, who was very psychic, and who had natural vision in her mind of being able to see when the white man was coming into her land. He gave this idea to a white man to actually create whatever he wanted to project into the minds of the people to believe what is real. That's a lot of control, ain't it?
I would
Jah
agree.
even said it himself. The shackles are no longer on your feet and on your hands anymore. It's through our devices.
I see. So you're saying the upgrade in equipment has steadily progressed us to become and think as a certain way?
Indeed. Why do we see certain projections? We'll use Jah, for example, to where he was an innocent man, did not go to trial, right?
Uh-huh.
He didn't go to trial when he was alive. And when he passed away, he was still proclaimed to be an innocent man. All those charges were dropped, correct?
Right.
Okay. So at the end of the day, Why is it that when we are looking at the Grammys, when we are looking at everything that tries to slander this man via pitchfork, whatever it may be, wherever it is, doesn't that put into the consciousness of people that he is a guilty man, even though they don't know him or his situation?
I would agree, but I would wonder more why people aren't addressing the news for calling him an abuser and stuff. Like, I don't understand that part.
You don't understand what?
Why they were calling him an abuser and all types of stuff of that nature.
Because the crucifix, listen, we talk about the history of how America was built, right?
Right.
America was built by a bunch of criminals that were casted out by the British that said, okay, you know what, just send them overseas and see if they can bring back goods for us, because they're not following our religious doctrine of what we're trying to preach, right? So basically, when you're looking at George Washington, all these other cats, they came here, they created their own Masonic lodge, and they believed in Satanism. I'm gonna just put it out there. They believed in Satanism, and so they believe that when you're looking at things like the KKK or Nazis or anything, when you look at those symbols, those symbols of how they conduct themselves are everything against the people of the sun. And when I say the people of the sun, I'm talking about melanated people, because when you're looking at the sun, the core of the sun is actually black.
Right.
The core of the sun is black, right?
Right.
So when you are looking at the KKK and how they lynch black men, women, children, whomever, and they put them on a cross, burn the cross. Why are they burning the cross if they Christian? Anybody think of that?
Well, I presume it's nothing nice.
So here's my
I don't
thing.
think it's any good because they were cold.
Here's my thing. The rituals are still happening. They just do it through the media now. They just do it in a way that can actually induce thought patterns into people.
Right. Tell lie vision.
Telling lies to your vision, indeed. The U.S. Someone said the U.S. is based on ancient Egypt to some extent. To some extent. To some extent. And the only reason why I say that is because, yes, they may have taken their philosophies from Egyptians. That's the reason why they brought slaves over here to build the White House, to build coliseums for in the District of Columbia and all over the place in the United States, because the actual white Masons actually didn't know how to build anything. They didn't know how to build anything. They knew that the black people knew how to actually become architectures. Why would there be a civilization that was built, and then next thing you know, you see this monolithic civilization that the ancient Egyptians created from pre-dynastic times, even to when there were all of these invasions that were happening from the Greeks, from the Romans. America has taken those bases of what happened in Egypt to the basis of creating fraternities from the Greeks, and also implying and infiltrating a consciousness to say, hey, we are your government, like the Romans, and you must pay your taxes onto Caesar. Why is that within Congress they have columns in the back that look just like what they used to have in Roman halls?
Right. I don't have any term to
need to wake
disagree.
up. My people need to wake up, because I don't understand why. Here's my thing. I'm getting to the point to where I'm just like, yo, I'm about to bounce out of this country, because I can't. I feel like I love my people, and I keep feeling like, yeah, people feel like, yes, we're gaining so much progress from the standpoint of consumerism, but when it comes down to our rights in this country, we're still living like we're in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. Why is that?
Because the lack of progression as a civilization. And it's because the environment around us is steadily being dumbed down.
So that is the main reason why they want to keep girls looking about that thought life, like Cardi B.
Right.
And they want them to be in strip clubs and to devalue who they are. Because even Cardi, excuse me, sorry about the noise, even Cardi admitted it herself that she's very insecure of who she is. That's why she did everything that she could to look more desirable in the eyes of the public. This is why they take out artists like Ja. Like if you listen to Moonlight, someone was saying that his music is able to heal, to even able to pull people into the astral, right? To hit certain parts of the brain of phrenology, to be able to master people through sound. Sound is vitally important to the frequency that you're putting out there. Because a lot of people wonder why can't Black people come together and do things like, like other communities can do? Because they live in a ghetto, because they are programmed, because our people are programmed. It doesn't matter. It's not just Black people, but Black people got it the worst. Because you know why? They understand from even from a standpoint of anatomy, period. This is scientifically proven. I'm not making nothing up. We are the most ancient people to walk this land. Every time that you see a race going on in the Olympics, usually you see a Black track star that is winning every single time. You know why? Because our DNA in the eyes of white people or of racist white people is superior to what they got going on. Because let's be for real, everybody came from us. Everybody migrated, evolved, and the recessive genes took over their DNA pool, but didn't give them the strength like the people of the sun. Is that our fault? No, it's not our fault. But at the end of the day, why wouldn't they try to dumb us down?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody, let's just say everybody was on some alkaline, vegan, meditating, exercising, clearing the consciousness type of movement. And let's just say Black people got all their stuff together. People of color, the Latinos, whoever, got all their stuff together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to the White House and say, yo, Native Americans, whomever, we want our, Native Americans got some of it, but we want our reparations, right? We want our reparations for all the gold that you stole in South America, for all the goods that you took from Africa, from all the diamonds that you've taken from Africa, from the land that you stole, and for enslaving our people. If that still was not granted to them by the people that govern this world, the only way to dismantle that system is to leave, because they built it off our backs. But I'm just a crazy psychic, dread-headed lady that don't know what she's talking about.
Okay. I just, I don't have an argument for you, and I don't disagree. So I just know that the world before us is a sick world, and only the mind and the drive of others will be what brings it back. And it won't be simple.
Chris made a great point that Ja was a wolf in sheepskin, right? So when we're talking about sheep, when we usually talk about sheep amongst the consciousness of humanity, we're talking about those that are still in the program of 1984 of obey, consume, control. But if he's trolling, right? If he's trolling, if he's putting out low frequency, if he's doing all of this other stuff, it looks like, okay, cool, he's playing the game of being a sheep. But then he turns around and puts out things that protest against the US government. If he puts out things that actually say, I'm not necessarily for how this system is running and that it needs to be reformed, that's when the sheepskin come off, don't it? And if you're not moving in the consciousness of how the masses are moving, doesn't that mean that groupthink? It's just like with Erykah Badu, window seat, right? She went down in Dallas where Kennedy got killed. And Kennedy was killed for the fact that he spoke out against higher power taking over our societies. When you think outside of the norm, you become a threat.
I agree. I can't argue that. I fully understand. I don't disagree with what you said. I think others should be enlightened about it and that understanding. It's just the same way that we would even say that we're being subjectively targeted. We have to also admit that we are our own worst enemy.
Because we keep thinking that you have to understand the era, unfortunately, the era of protest is not is basically not not gentrified through through the Me Too movement or through women's movement or through the gay rights movement. But you see that when it comes down to a Million Man March, it becomes a problem. When you see certain situations to where Malcolm X was putting out certain things, or even Martin Luther King was putting out an agenda for being a martyr of peace, right? And actually using nonviolence. Do you think that even when Black people in the communities of Chicago, in St. Louis, in LA, in New York are protesting over the situations and the conditions that they are living in and the violence that is plaguing children that we care about? Do you think that that's going to work anymore if they've already shut it down for so many different people? The only thing that we really haven't advocated was the mindset of Marcus Garvey to get up and go back home. But Marcus Garvey was able to get away because he knew it was coming for him.
All right, that gets deeper.
I got something to say.
Okay, I'm listening.
Has any one of you heard yet a public what is it? Just anything public with the resting in peace for Jah yet? Made from family, friends, anything in the media out there yet? Almost a year now, right?
Yeah. It's about to be a year. It's about to be a year. And here's what's crazy. Here's the craziest part dealing with that, though. It's like it's a year and you still got the same people doing silly things, but there's nobody around address the people who are funny in the situation. It's like you commit murder and you slide off without any repercussions. I think that's crazy to me. That's what's crazy to me. Like people committed murder and slid off without any repercussions, any questions, not even any hints or accusations. And like you're in a position where people are calling you a G and things. It's just too many people getting away with committing such a heinous crime. Are you guys there?
Yes, repeat it again because you were going.
I said there's too many people that are getting away with committing a heinous crime, and everybody's still so baffled that the crime has something to only do with these men. I don't understand it. Like, do you think these 4 suspects are the only ones guilty at this point?
Honestly, no.
How do I commit such a crime and I'm never even thought to be liable? I mean,
repeat that again one more time.
How do you do such crimes and no one even thinks you liable, even when the evidence sticks out like a sore thumb? I don't understand it.
I mean, here's the thing. That's the reason why, when it came down to that situation, I stated it once and I'm gonna say it again. I felt as if situations showed that the way that the movement of how the suspects initially handled that particular situation obviously showed that this wasn't a situation to where it was a standard robbery to which is being communicated to the people. Because if it was a standard robbery, okay, you have 2 people in a car, however many people in a car, 3 people, 4 people, whatever, wouldn't you surround the vehicle and hit everybody up if you robbing somebody?
The moment I seen the door on the other side open, I would have opened fire. I'm just telling y'all what I would have started shooting. I would have started dumping, because here's my thing. I don't know if he's getting out to shoot back. I don't know whether he's getting out to attack me. The person who was running down to do that, how swift his movements were and how fast they were moving, you would have just started dumping. You would have just started dumping. You wouldn't have sat there and analyzed it. Ooh, that brings up a thought. Queen, wasn't it you who said to me about the body build of us examining? We're going to save that one for tomorrow. But there's something else that I didn't notice until Queen mentioned it. Get props to Queen. I looked again and I was like, wait. Tried to fool us, didn't you? They tried to fool us. We got you. You know,
I mean, wasn't people coming through with flip-flops on?
Right? Yeah, and someone else was.
People was coming through with flip-flops on. How they gonna hop out the back of a truck with flip-flops on? How that work?
How is this? How do you see Van skater shoes any cooler than flip-flops? Like when did someone brag about flip-flops, slay flip-flops, and then say, I'm gonna throw these Vans on? What? Really?
Never heard of
that. Neither have I. Dang.
I just want to know. All I want to know, here's my thing. Because if we talking about what we talking about, I just want to know when it came down to the homies that came out with tracker shoes on, from flip-flops to tracker shoes, and then I want to know who was drinking Professor Clump's formula to get slim so quickly.
Yeah.
If certain people are the alleged shooters.
Right.
So I want to know what magical pill they taking, because I want some of that.
But it's clear when again, if you watch that clip, If you pause and you focus, you try to zoom, you will see when those doors are open. There's practically nobody inside. I'm talking about big dudes, man. You can't see nobody inside.
Right.
Doors are open.
Exactly.
So someone said they was grabbing the bag. They wasn't trying to shoot him. But here's my thing. Like I said, if it was a standard robbery, yeah, they might be going after the big bag, right?
Right.
But if you're smart, you surround the car. Simply because then all that does is create a situation to where you hitting everybody for what they got, number one. And then number two, that's going to put someone in a crazy predicament. And for the other individual to say, yo, let the bag go. Just let it go. Let it go. Live to see another day. Home, at the end of the day, the door was wide open. Got out the car. Nobody busted one shot.
I don't get it. I agree.
Actually, it looks like when a passenger comes out, that picture or imagery of the passenger running looks more clearer than when the two supposed gunmen come out.
Say that again, Chris.
That the picture of the passenger opening the door and running looks a lot sharper, a lot clearer than the two guys getting out, supposedly pulling up on X. If you compare, if you look, it doesn't look as good the video shot. So I want to know when does video pick and choose when it wants to get blurry and when it wants to get pixelated.
I agree. I can't argue with it. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I can't answer those, but I do see some inconsistencies. And I do have to say this, from the falling out to the issues I'm seeing, it all makes sense. Like it's just like down to the vandalism of the memorial. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. I don't know. I get it. Even when I look at the funny style dudes on the side and what they're doing, their careers, how they're going, when the tour split up, who I see, it just makes sense. What did I say? What didn't I say? What did I say? That I said these three things: love, envy, and revenge. It just makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. It just makes sense. I see it. It's like something you can't hide. You can't hide that.
So my thing is this. There's a lot of things that are kind of coming to light with that particular situation. And I just kind of feel, and I'm going to mention this because I think we briefly talked about this, TheCzarr, and I can't really put out no names or nothing. But do you recall when I said to you someone was always packing?
Yes.
Okay, and that day, homie wasn't packing.
Yes.
And that day, homie chilling.
Yeah, he was. And what gets even worse is why is homie MIA like a mofo? Like MIA.
Ain't nobody questioning homie.
Like it's almost like they disappeared off the face of the earth.
So my thing is,
and I know of homies past to the point where I know what you did elsewhere. So I'm looking at that and I'm like,
hold on, what he do?
A lot. There's a lot going on elsewhere that I know specific situations that have been dictated to me where he handled business. So you can't make me believe in this situation.
So are we talking about
the same person?
Felony activity, or are we like, what are we talking about?
I'm not going to say what it's about. I'm just say they handle business. They got their name up. They got respect up. But in this situation, it's like, what were you doing? Like, but this situation was your biggest mistake, because what you don't realize, well, I'm not even gonna, because every time I tell y'all something, y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. Y'all do what y'all want. We're doing one. Fine. I'm not gonna tell you anything. I'm gonna just say the position you played that day may be the one thing that brings everything else out, because you're just stupid. Because even if let's say you're good with every investigator on the case, you don't understand that once it reaches a federal level,
I couldn't hear nothing. You back on?
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, it just cut off. Like, it's just a lot of promises were made that I know can't be kept because of the nature, the way the information unveils, and the fact of who they quietly got on the backside. Again, I don't remember the name fully because it was a name we've never heard publicly, but they already got someone pillow talking, premeditated. Why do you oh, the experts just showed up because they wanted to work. Oh, they're just asking for the statements because it's fun saying the word statement. You don't get it yet? These are dumbo. Just I don't know. It makes me embarrassed. Like, really? Really? And they get it. They get it. They just don't want to believe it's true. No, we did it perfectly. We did the perfect thing. There's no mistakes. You want to know what's funny? They were just shocked someone was talking about it, so shocked that they missed someone telling them exactly what to do. You missed someone telling you exactly what to do. You're like, oh, what do I do? I'm going to just do this. Dummies. You messed up the plan. I could imagine the mastermind calling them up. Ring, ring. You messed the plan up. What do you mean? Didn't I tell you to do this? I did do it. But why'd you tell her? You laid in the bed with her and talked about it? Really? You let them pillow talk. You grown man pillow talking in the bed like, yeah, baby, I'm about to throw this hit. I'm about to take this person out. Yeah. Is that what you did? Yo, the funny things is they don't realize. Nothing.
So, really quick, was it ever stated that Ja was taken away by an ambulance? Because other people had other contradictory things to say in the chat, stating that it was a fire truck.
I've seen a fire truck too. I've seen that said, but I've seen neither on the scene. And I go by evidence. I see neither on the scene. So I would like to know how he got to the hospital too. Some even said he went straight into a coroner van because they pronounced him dead on the scene. But I don't know how that's possible if he was pronounced dead at the hospital with no hospital documentation. You get what I'm saying?
Because I recall watching this video to where this kid called the hospital that was reported and was asking for public information on that particular person, and they basically stated that they didn't have it.
Exactly. Exactly.
The only thing that I could think of that would contradict that situation is if they wouldn't release it, given the fact that he's such a high-profile case. But when things are being presented after a certain period of time, eventually things will become public record, correct?
No, nothing ever has to become public record. Matter of fact, here's the thing. I don't know how you can deny the parents the right to see something. Like how you can look the father in his eyes and tell him he can't see his child or get any information pertaining to his child. It blows my mind.
Okay, I'm trying to understand what Lloyd means by they extracted his third eye for their Masonic rituals. Are you talking about John? What, if you can explain what you're talking about? I really want to know.
As far as what? I'm not understanding you.
Oh, I don't know. Lloyd states they extracted his third eye for their Masonic rituals.
What proof do you have of something like that, Lloyd?
Oh, I have no idea. That's the reason why, as what Kimberly is saying, where's the autopsy?
But we've been asking that. We've been asking that. We are going to be back tomorrow around 7:30 to 8. And we plan to focus in. It's going to be real quick. It's going to be like an hour. And that's when we're going to discuss the specific things we mentioned here briefly, having to do with those details, dealing in depth with the fire trucks and the different things showed up on the scene. We're even going to look at pictures. So we're going to have that. You don't want to miss that because I have other stuff. The special guests, I guess they backed out. I don't know what to tell you guys, but certain people that become guests that join us here, sometimes they get talked to a certain way and they get shaken in the boots. So that's on her. That's my thing. I'm not going to block anybody like that. He could say and believe what he wants. We already have what we need. He just makes himself look suspicious. I'm not going to feed into that, but what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, none of that matters, trust me. And I'm just looking at how we're not going to say the names of all you people who are suspicious. Like, I just got to think hard how we're not going to say your names. Because, if I presume you're here trying to be a hindrance, we're going to have to blow your spot up. We're going to have to. And all that being silent or ignoring me, it's nice and it makes you feel good until I do see something that's fishy about you. And if you are coming at my commenters and things, I will blow your spot up. I'll go into detail. Even if, and that's to you superstars too that are here. Don't play. Stop playing with me. I'm not playing with you. You better respect what I got happening here. Respect my movement. I'm not hopping on you. I'm not saying your name and naming the song that's trash. Yeah, respect what I'm doing. Not naming your trash song. No, I have enough respect, lovely Tashay, that I don't have to name names. I'm only naming it when it's relevant. I'm not giving anyone shine they don't deserve. And some of the people here don't deserve that type of shine. If I address them, you've seen them come out. If they want to play secret usernames, secret that stuff, I'ma just allude. I don't even have to come after you. I'm gonna allude to it. You can say what you want. They know. I don't have to say their names because they know. I don't gotta say their names. You guys want to say a name, know who it is. Sometimes it just remains a secret, and I'm good with that. And I'm good with them with that. And I have no problem doing that for them. But I don't like when you tell lies blatantly, when you and I both know there's more to it than that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't sit here and make something up and slide it in and make people think. Don't do that. I don't do that to you guys. I don't slide in there how you stole someone's song, stole their flow. I don't slide that stuff in here. Leave it alone. Let it be. We already see the fishiness. We already see the raiders sliding around. They know what that means. They know what it is. Oh, and by the way, anybody that's part of CommenterNation that's getting specific phone calls, be very wary of who you're talking to. That's all I want to say. Be very careful about who you're speaking to. Because the czar knows, I know, and I know who potentially allegedly employed them. I also know how much they got paid. And I know what their purpose is to be engaged in the community we have here. So I'm slowly figuring out more.